Hello there, this is Tara McGinnis. If you are in the cast of Head Over Heels, I'm the costume designer. If you are in my costume class, you already know who I am. And this will be helpful for learning how to take measurements on yourself at home. If you don't have somebody you live with and you want to, for the measurement thing, get your measurements, these are the minimal measurements we tend to use in the drama department because a lot of our stuff is stuff that we're altering and not necessarily needing 1,000 measurements for something custom handmade in every part. These are all the basics that you absolutely tend to need in a costume studio, and more or less how you can go and do them at home. So that is our goal. Now, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a tape measure. Now, if you're in my costume class, you have provided yourself with a tape measure at some point. If you are in the cast of Head Over Heels, chances are you may or may not have one of these at home. If you do not have one of these at home and do not want to go to a dollar store to go and buy yourself one, you can go and print out the inchcalculator.com paper tape measure. If you are anything taller than 5'6", you might want to print out more than one for one of the measurements, but if you know your height, I'll be able to figure it out anyway. That's probably the hardest one to do and the last one to do. So watch this video first, decide what you want to do, print out a tape measure, tape it together or paste it together, and we can start doing this sort of thing. So the first measurement you're going to need is your head measurement. Now your head measurement goes around just above your ears like a hat band. Now when we do wigs and things, we do lots more measurements, and I'm sure the wig people are going to do all sorts of stuff on your happy heads for whatever is going on with that. But for me, I just basically need an approximate measurement. So wide part of your head, just above your ears, is that measurement. The next measurement is your neck. Now, that is not the straight across the neck measurement. It is the measurement that you would have for a shirt collar on a man's dress shirt. So it goes around, but it goes down to the hollow of the neck like that. So it's slightly looser, and it's the measurement that you want to do that won't go and strangle you if you're put in a dress shirt. So please put that one down. Next, what is the next? The next, head, neck, bust, chest. Okay, if you happen to be female and happen to have boobs, please go and stick them in a bra before you do your measurements, because that will make them sit where they normally sit when you have a bra on, which you usually do have on in costume. Whether you're male or female, however, you will want to measure your chest at the widest point, which typically is right across your nipples. So I'm going to go and measure like that all the way around. And so having it be the height and size they're supposed to be when they've been elevated by your whatever, or squished down by your sports bra or whatever it is you normally wear. Okay, so that's the next measurement. Then, under bust. People with breasts need to do this. So if you go and have breasts and might need a bra or corsety thing for a costume for some reason, this measurement measures the band of the bra. So under bust is band of the bra measurement, and it also helps us if we need to have your costume have a bra in it, which for the ensemble there may be some of those, and it tells us which size bras actually will fit you from the band size to the breast size. It's also really useful for those kinds of things because the difference between this measurement and this measurement tells you what size of cup size you use. So that's the next one. The next is your waist. Now, your waist is not typically where your jeans are sitting. Even though I've got high mom jeans at this point, they're not quite on my natural waist. Your natural waist is located just under your bottom rib, about an inch under. And it's the spot that if you do this, it's where you bend. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure around that part. On a fair number of people, that's the smallest part on your torso, but not everyone. I have more than the COVID-19, and I have a feeling that that is not necessarily my smallest spot. So the important thing is that it be at that point where you bend, about an inch below that bottom rib. Then, let's see, high hip. High hip is where your jeans sit. Specifically, it sits right along your hip bones. So you feel for your hip bones, which in my case are a little bit below the waist on this, because these are mom jeans, not regular hip huggers. And you measure where you can feel those bones. And that is your high hip. And so that's the one you're going to put in for high hip. Then we have the hip measurement. Now the hip measurement is easy to find because it's the biggest part of your bottom, the widest part down below. So you're going to put it across that widest part, regardless of how high or low that is, and you're going to measure that around. And you're going to put that measurement in even if you feel like you have too much or not enough booty. That's the one that lets us know if pants and skirts and things like that are actually going to fit over you. So that way you're not trying on things that you have no hope of putting on because the backside is going to make it so that you can't get it to fit over that portion of you. So it just saves you time in the fittings. Inseam. Inseam is really, really kind of tricky to do at home, but you can do it. It's one of the ones where it really helps to have the non-paper tape measure. How I do it is, let's get as far back as I can to show you as full length as I can go. Sorry, this room isn't that wide, but I go and put the tape measure on the floor and then stick my foot gently over the instep of that. And I then put it a little bit below where my crotch is for the moment. And then I reach up to where the seams would meet on your jeans, or where you'd stick in a tampon if you were female, basically the lowest portion of your crotch. And you're going to hold up the tip of the tape measure right into there, like you're trying to push in a tampon. Or if you're a guy, scratch between the front and back orifices, and put your foot on the bottom part of the thing. And when you've got that, then you go down and you look at your foot, and you see what number is under there. 31.5. So that is my inseam measurement. Then, Outseam. Outseam is another one that's a little tricky because you have to do the same kind of thing with your instep. So you're going to put the tape measure under there, and you're going to go a little bit at a time, move that foot, and let it get to that same point that's like 1 inch below the ribs, the point where you bend. So 1 inch below the bottom rib, that is your outseam. And I can't see what I did with that. Outer arm. Outer arm is like for men's suits and for different kinds of shirt sleeves and things of that nature. What you want to do is there's a spot on your shoulder where on a lot of things the seam is, but mostly what you want to do is you want to feel when you move your arm where the edge is between where it moves. You're feeling the top part of the bone there, and the muscle, and you measure from that spot where if you move, that's where the edge of the movement occurs. You take that and then you grab it and do a little bit of bend, and then you get to your wrist bone. When you see the little bone there, I have 23. Okay, now that's your outer arm. Now this is a tricky contortion. This is your back, neck to wrist, which is the other measurement that's used in men's dress shirts. There's the neck measurement that goes down into that little hole, and there's also from this bump at the back of your neck to that wrist bone over your bent elbow. This one's tricky. Watch. Okay, so I'm going to go and put this right at that bump, and I'm going to hold it there. And then I'm going to pull this out like so, and I'm going to move it around to where it's at the bump on the wrist. And then, holding it loosely so that it can bend, I'm going to try and keep that sticking over the shoulder, over the elbow, and in place. And then I can go, say 33. I've got abnormally long arms for somebody my height. So that's your back, neck to wrist. It's a really useful measurement. Then there's back, neck to floor. That one's kind of hard because that's from your back, neck to here to the floor, and I'm a 5'6" woman, and for me it's 60 inches, which means if you're anything over 5'6", chances are you need more than the tape measure to do that. So for my purposes, if you know your height, you can put in your height and skip that one. But if you're feeling like you really want to be determined, make one extra of those tape measures, a longer one than 60 inches, or tape two tape measures together. And essentially you do the same thing you did with your feet for the inseam. You put it under your foot and then slowly bring it up and slowly bring it up. Or if you have a quilting tape measure where they're extra long, which is what we do with to do it at work. And you basically, on a longer one, you get it all the way up to the top and to that bump and tucked under your foot. And that's how you do back, neck to floor if you're trying to do it at home. Unfortunately at home I don't have the fancy tape measures. So we're going to do with that. Let's see, back, neck to floor. So put in a height and weight if you're not feeling too self-conscious about that. And the next thing is shoe size. Now shoe size is really important. If you're lucky and you've been doing rehearsals with the ensemble, you may have already found your shoes. But whether or not you found your shoes, I want to know your shoe size, because you'll be in a show next year or something like that. And the sooner I know your shoe size, the sooner I can find your shoes. So what you're going to do is you're going to go and find the 3 pairs of shoes in your closet that you think fit you best and make you feel most comfortable and whatever. And you're going to copy all the information out of the shoe. And you're going to tell me what kind of a shoe it is. Because what we want for your shoe measurement is the maximum amount of information. So if you have something that is a wide, put it in. If you have something that's a narrow, that's put it in. If you have a pair of character shoes you love, put in that one, and then a set of Converse and a set of something else. And then write down what it is and what size it is that it feels comfortable. If you have something that's like this is precious. My comfortable at home Nike high tops. Now my comfortable at home Nike high tops have a bunch of measurements in them, like a lot of sneakers do. They are listed as a US 11, a UK 10, a European Union 45, and a Chinese 29. What that means is, I know because I'm a costumer, is that I am a size 13 in women's shoes. And I also know because character shoes, people tend to like to wear slightly tight, and these people tend to like slightly loose. Chances are, if I were to buy character shoes for myself, I'd need a 12.5. And that's the kind of information I can extrapolate if you give me this information. Or if you have a pair of shoes that the only thing it says is a European size or a Chinese size, I can look up. There are tables that tell me what your shoe size is in a woman's shoe, in a man's shoe. In US sizes, a man's 11 is a woman's 13, and vice versa. Or a woman's 12 is a man's 10, which is why I have been happily providing footwear out of my own wardrobe for a lot of the chorus men for years, and occasional women who have big feet. So, give me all the possible information you have about your favorite shoes and what they consist of and what size information you have on the inside. And that will be helpful. And if you are a costumer in my class and you're watching this video and you're ever trying to find out somebody else's information, get them to give you as much information as you can. When we have people in person and they don't know their shoe size because they've always had their mother buy their shoes, you can put your foot on a piece of paper diagonal and trace it, and that will give you kind of a hint. But shoe size is a tricky thing, so as much more information is better than less. And then take a picture with your phone, or better still scan this, and send me a copy. I'm sure there is a link below for where to do that. Bye-bye.